A disclaimer. This was made mostly as a joke and should not be taken as fact. I literally took the top search I found off Google and looked at no evidence to the contrary. Come to your own opinions and don't adopt the one I'm about to represent. A story. Last year, me and a few people started a movie watching club. It started out innocently enough with movies like Avatar and Chappie and the Blues Brothers. The idea of it was rather simple. Each week, a member suggested a movie to show to the others. It started out with 3 members, but along the way, we picked up more. Now, this might have been my fault when I picked the movie Tokyo Gore Police without first knowing the content of the film, but it seems we got a little bit lax in what we were considering okay to show in club. One of the members, who only watched anime, picked the Island of Giant Insects movie. I couldn't watch the night, but told them I'd write an essay and catch up with them. When I was shocked at the content of the film, I did just that. Here's the essay. The Island of Giant Insects movie is cheaply animated fetish content for viewers to spank their monkeys to. From highly uncomfortable scenes of underage women pissing their pants to unconsented sex, the film never lost an opportunity to display ever-prominent fan service. Many questions should pop into one's mind while viewing this film, but the main one hanging over mine was, just how in the hell did we get here? Using this film as a basis, I intend to explore such tropes in anime and why they are ever prominent in them these days. First, the film itself. One watching can immediately see its low production cost from the opening scene, many of it filled with prolonged shots of still images. This cost-saving and viewer-wasting time method of making a film can be seen throughout the whole show. One of the worst offenders is around a 1.5-minute long sequence that is the character walking with rock music in the background. This sequence comes before the final confrontation with the bugs on the island and is meant to hype up the audience. This can work, and does work, in other anime/films, such as in Kill Bill Volume 1 or Kill Bill Volume 2. In stark contrast, these don't stay on the same character the whole time and don't last 1.5 minutes long. I would call this scene a parody if it hadn't just been flashed 20 sets of boobs with full sincerity. Speaking of them, let's talk about the 2 giant elephants in the room, and why they're so ever-present in anime these days. According to Peter Payne, quote, "Sexy fanservice has been a part of anime for decades and is probably older than all of us." End quote. He then goes on to list out possible reasons they are included into anime, such as lightening up the story, being a bid for possible viewers' attention, or to create buzz on the internet. He also states that fanservice has been baked into the very core of media itself, even Sailor Moon having upskirt shots. It is of note that his opinion is put in a positive light, or at least it has always been this way, so anime without it wouldn't be the same. While we're here, it's nice to note around 60% of the comments on the site where I watched the film were positive, the other 40% calling it trash. I think it's interesting to see the people defending and what they have to say. For example, one user by the name of Kanzamaki25 Dolphin wrote, quote, "And for those people who's saying this is trash, then why are you here from the start of the show? So what do you expect from horror genre, wholesome through the outcome? It's better, at least, few characters are survived, rather than be no one, haha," end quote. You might have noticed that there is nothing in this review about the sexual content of the film, or quite frankly, the abhorred quality of it. This film was made for one purpose, and that was to let people get freaky with the bugs. Yet most, if not all, the reviews on the site where I watched the film were positive and just seemed to miss that fact for some inexplicable reason. That reason, in my opinion, is Normalization. This film wasn't marked as hentai, but rather rated R. Now, I'm not one for purity culture, and I'm certainly not a prude, but calling this animation anything other than porn is simply insulting to the viewer's intelligence. So what's the problem then? Well, unrestricted access to the internet is the problem. According to Exposure to Sexual Content and the Problematic Sexual Behaviors in Children and Adolescents, a systematic review and meta-analysis, quote, "Significant associations were found between exposure to non-violent sexual content and the likelihood of engaging in PSB, problematic sexual behaviors, and between exposure to violent/live sexual content and PSB, problematic sexual behaviors," end quote. Okay, but this was marked as alright. No kid should be viewing this. Well, there certainly aren't any safeguards. This movie is on the same website, Crunchyroll, as every other anime. You as a parent could buy a middle schooler subscription to the site, and just by chance they could get recommended this film. It looks like any other anime on the site, and all it's doing is taking sexual tropes in regular anime and bringing them to the extreme. All this content does is set up your child to be inappropriately sexual, which could lead to admonishment, or worse cases, lead to irreparable damage of talking to the wrong person. Normalizing this in growing minds is all but a good thing. Overall, the film Island of Giant Insects movie is not only normalizing inappropriate behaviors to kids who can't yet see it for themselves, but it's also, and more importantly, a shitty movie. In my opinion, if the movie was just good, most of this could be excused. But it's not even a good horror film, so all that ends up happening is fetish content for people who need to seek therapy. This is a trend in anime that is a circle of in-group stereotypes that needs to be bucked before this type of sexuality is normalized in young people's minds. That's the end of what I wrote. But to be more charitable, I talked to the person who showed me the film. This is what they had to say.
I should have reviewed the movie first to make sure it actually followed the manga content because it doesn't really.